You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Melissa Kay. Portage County DA has issued charges in the July 6th double homicide in the town of New Hope. John L. Schulfer has been charged with 7 total felony charges, including 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide as a repeater and 2 counts of causing mental harm to a child repeater, among other charges. Schulfer will have his first Portage County court appearance on August 1st at 1:15 p.m. He's being held in the Wapaka jail on a $2 million cash bond. Wisconsin has its first confirmed case of West Nile virus this year. Joanne Krulotz has the story.
Department of Health Services disease epidemiologist Rebecca Osborne says most people who get infected may not even be aware, but symptoms include fever, chills, headache, muscle aches, rash, and fatigue. The confirmed case was in Barron County, a man in his 60s. Mosquitoes collected in Milwaukee and Lafayette counties have tested positive for the virus. To avoid mosquito bites, apply insect repellent, wear long sleeves, and remove any standing water from your property.
Since the arrest in April, attorneys for Jenny Wicki have been requesting a reduction in her $2 million bond amount. Wicki was arrested on 14 felony charges, including fraud and theft. Wicki owns 2 restaurants in Nakusa, West River Cafe, and Little Mexico. The first request for bond reduction in late May was denied. A month later, on June 24th, Wicki's bond was reduced to $1 million. Now, late last week, Wicki's cash bond has been adjusted down to $200,000. Despite the court denying the bond modification, they still lowered the cash required to secure her release from jail. If she's able to make bond, Wicki is not allowed to leave the state of Wisconsin, sell any major items without permission of the court, or open or reopen any business without the approval of the Department of Revenue.
Nearly 70 active large-scale wildfires are burning over 1 million acres in the U.S. alone. And much of this wildfire activity is happening in the Pacific Northwest as well as Canada. And most of the recent ones are caused by dry lightning strikes that happened in dense, wooded areas with remote access.
This is really no different than any other year, other than the fact that it is a little bit earlier.
That's Catherine Coele, a Wisconsin DNR wildfire prevention specialist. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources says the fire control program staff from the state have been mobilized across the western U.S. and even into Canada to help combat the blazes.
Once you get notice of a resource order, you can be mobilized within 24 hours.
Both personnel and engines from Wisconsin have been moved to over 65 out-of-state fire assignments so far this year. But how can we afford to send resources when we have our own problems here?
You know, these experiences, they bring that back to Wisconsin. It's a way for us to improve our program here. They share those experiences. Hey, we did this thing out in Oregon and it was really cool. And there was a neat way to fight this fire, and those strategies are brought back to Wisconsin. So we learn and grow from those experiences when we bring those resources back.
Since we've had recent widespread rain and green vegetation across the state, wildfire activity here has subsided, with a minimal fire risk in Wisconsin. Now, this has allowed the DNR to shift focus and help support national wildfire efforts. Right now, 20 different DNR staff have been moved to 12 different states, with 3 wildland fire engines currently stationed in Oregon. There are also 6 DNR staff in northern Manitoba and another DNR engine responding to fires in California. Wisconsin firefighters and engines are slated to be on assignment for about 2 weeks or until the fire severity subsides. For Civic Media News, I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
And I'm Melissa Kay for WXCO News.
Are the Packers tough enough? Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. In Green Bay, where the Packers training camp continues, I asked GM Brian Gutekunst if the team has been physical enough in the playoffs against teams like the 49ers or the Eagles.
Quite frankly, over the last couple of years, I felt really good about our physicality and our toughness and our ability to play that kind of game. But I think there probably were times in the past where I was kind of thinking we need to be a little more physical of a football team, but not over the last couple of years.
Baseball. The Brewers with another win, 9-3 over the Cubs. Milwaukee now with a 2-game lead over Chicago. Brewers manager Pat Murphy.
It's a game of people. Those people are at their best self. If Vaughn starts worrying about what if next year, what can I'm going to set a record. All bets are off. I got 19 steals. I got to get to 20. No one cares. You know what I mean? No one will care about your baseball card.
That's Pat Murphy with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Three Body Problem is moving forward with a 2-season cast. The show about a Chinese scientist who inadvertently signals aliens, then discovers they are headed towards Earth and will arrive in a couple decades, was a critic's darling after season 1. The scientists band together with a detective to help stave off an existential planetary threat. Claudia Dumet and Ellie DeLange join the cast. Season 2 of Three Body Problem drops in 2026 on Netflix. Here's a Pete pick. It's an oldie, but a goodie. For whatever reason, I never got around to watching the show Dexter until this past weekend. The Showtime drama thriller about a forensic scientist who is a serial killer, but only kills those he deems deserving, is at times suspenseful, thoughtful, and complex. The show dropped in 2006 and ran for 8 seasons. If you're looking for mystery accompanied by some dismemberment, you have several seasons to binge, and all of them can be streamed at Paramount+. In the Weird Get Weirder news, after the Coldplay concert Kiss Cam incident involving astronomer CEO and the company's head of HR, who have both been let go, the company has hired Nepo baby and publicity hound Gwyneth Paltrow as its temporary spokesman. Astronomer definitely has a sense of humor about itself, since Paltrow is the ex-wife of Coldplay frontman Chris Martin. Some people parlay an Oscar win into better creative work. Then there's Paltrow, who will try to sell anything. Director Richard Linklater and actor Ethan Hawke teamed up again for the film Blue Moon. A biographical drama with lots of music tells the story of Lawrence Hart, who was Richard Rodgers' partner before he connected with Oscar Hammerstein. The film is not expected to hit theaters until October of this year, but it's knocking the socks off most critics with 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. Multiple times, the Linklater-Hawke collaborations have led to an Oscar nomination for Hawke. The first steps were big steps for the Fantastic Four at last weekend's box office. To no one's surprise, the new Marvel-Disney effort finished in first place after being aided by good reviews to rake in $117 million domestically and $240 million globally. This is the 4th summer blockbuster to open with over $400 million at the gate. It was all big studio competition for the remaining 4 spots of the top 5. Superman finished in second place with a healthy $25 million in its 3rd week of release. Jurassic World Rebirth came in 3rd with $13 million in its 4th week of release. F1 racing flick F1 finished in 4th place with just over $6 million, and the Smurfs finished in 5th place with $5.5 million in its 2nd week on the big screen. Let's keep going to the movies, folks. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mostly cloudy with some smoky haze and a sprinkle or even a thundershower possible today. Our high in the mid to upper 70s. Tonight we'll drop down into the low to mid 50s. Tomorrow, sunshine with a high of 77. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Temperature now 67.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.